Quaid Azam, Part 253. This was followed by a bleeding Mr. Jinnah, however satisfactory to their adherents, can materially advance political progress in India unless it takes into account wider interest, the anxiety of the depressed classes, the claims of the princes, and all these not so subtle propaganda points. Insinuations or suggestions were not to assist the talks, but rather to make clear that there was a third party to all this, the Raj, and it is the Raj that held the trump card in their hand. The announcement of the impending meeting also angered the members of Hindu Mahasabha. Similarly, a batch of the Haksars, paramilitary Muslim organization, had swarmed into Bombay and was holding parades to create the proper atmosphere to stimulate a Congress League settlement. The communists were holding mass meetings which would compel the two leaders to unite in the defense of democracy as symbolized by Russian resistance to the Nazi aggression. Fearing that Gandhi was going to accept the League's demand for Pakistan, the Sikhs had come out with their demand for Sikhistan and a self-determining state in the Punjab, formed on the property basis, meaning obviously that areas where they had by their toil turned wasteland into rich agricultural farms and in which the bulk of their landed property was located should be constituted into a separate Sikh state. The Bombay police, by way of precaution, promulgated an order that prohibited the use of certain number of roads and public places except by those persons who are residents in the locality surrounding those roads by person who genuinely need to visit those persons. To it, Quaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah had added characteristic announcement of his own. Press representatives, I hope, will understand that obviously the meeting is not open to the press, and therefore I would request them not to take the trouble of coming to my house. Photographers and film companies are at liberty to take photos and shots on the arrival of Mr. Gandhi. The talks with Jinnah began on 9 September 1944 and continued for 18 days at Jinnah's residence at 10 Mount Pleasant Road, Bombay. Gandhi sent Jinnah special wheaten wafers that had been prepared for himself on Eid. Those wafers were prepared for himself on Eid, which fell during the talks. He also sent Jinnah his nature cure doctor during the talks to give him curative massages. As Pyarelal has recorded, in the final phase, they met, they shook hands, they embraced each other. There seemed to be a genuine human touch in their first meeting. Jinnah came out into his porch to receive the Mahatma and escort him back at the time of leaving, even posed with him to be photographed. Observers fancied they noticed in Jinnah's parting warm handshake more than a mere histrionic gesture. But that was all. At the very outset, Jinnah questioned the representative capacity of Mahatma, but ultimately relented and agreed to continue the talks. As the talks progressed, truth began to emerge that there was going to be no give, but only take. The Quaid Azam had come not to be convinced or even to discuss. The objection had been waived only to give the seeker a chance to receive the light and join the band of the faithful. Have you brought anything from Jinnah, Gandhiji? Was asked on his return. Only flowers, was Mahatma's laconic reply.